predicting every UFC champion by the end of 2025. You may notice I got Alex Pereira, the current light heavyweight champion, and Khamzat Chimaev both on the screen at the same time. I'm going to preface this video immediately by saying I'm hearing rumors, not guaranteed, not confirmed, that Chimaev's actually going to be fighting Alex Pereira next in the light heavyweight division. And if that is true, which I don't know for sure, if it's true, I think Chimaev will end 2025 the light heavyweight champion, because I think if he moves up, he fights Alex Pereira, he'll likely move back down to fight the winner of Dricus and Sean Strickland and retain the light heavyweight belt, because he doesn't have to fight anybody else in that light heavyweight division. And if this isn't the case, he's not moving up, of course I'm going to go Alex Pereira to end 2025 as the light heavyweight champion. There's a lot of weird stuff going on here. Again, I don't know for sure if Chimaev is moving up, but if he does, I'm going to go for him to end the year as the champion. Now, we're going to look at all the other weight classes, flyweight up to heavyweight. Now, I will revisit this topic because it is very, very interesting, but we're going to go back down to 125 pounds. Current champ, Alexandre Pantoja. And it is still Alexandre Pantoja that I have retaining his belt and still being the UFC champion by the end of 2025. We're all obviously hearing the rumors, Kai Kara-France versus Alexandre Pantoja probably going to be next. It's not going to be in January, February. I doubt it's going to be on that March pay-per-view. Both Pantoja and Kara-France kind of want that April-May range. I believe there's going to be a Brazil card somewhere in there. April or May, that's probably when Pantoja is going to fight Kai Kara-France. I do believe that Alexandre Pantoja will beat Kai Kara-France. Stylistically, yes, Kai does have some solid takedown defense. And yes, I have Kai winning round 1 and possibly a little bit of round 2. But as soon as Pantoja gets that first takedown, he's not going to not get it from then on. He will get the takedowns in those later rounds and either submit Kai again like he did on The Ultimate Fighter, or just win those later rounds and win a decision. So I think he wins in Brazil, if that's where it's going to happen, or in April or May. Doesn't matter, but I don't think he's going to have 3 fights in 2025. I think he'll fight Kai Kara-France, again, April, May, and then one more fight, October, November, December range. Final fight of the year, another 2 title defense a year for Alexandre Pantoja. And who are the options? We got Brandon Royval fighting Manel Kape. That's one option. You could get Brandon Royval to be on a 3-fight win streak. Brandon Moreno, Tatsuro Taira, and then Manel Kape. Brandon Royval probably deserve a title shot at that point. So say that's the first option. Again, Pantoja has already beaten Royval 3 times. I think he'd do it again, and I think he'd beat Royval again. The other option, Manel Kape. Say Manel Kape beats Brandon Royval in their main event on March 1st. He'd probably be next in line for a title fight, as he would just be coming off a win over the number 1 contender. I would say Manel would deserve a title fight. You do Manel Kape versus Alexandre Pantoja. My thoughts don't really change. I think Manel will early on defend a lot of the takedowns, keep it at range and strike, but just like the Muhammad Mokaev fight, he will get taken down eventually. He will get held a little bit. It'll be a little bit boring, and Pantoja will be able to win. Now, some other options floating in there could be maybe Royval or Manel's not able to fight at the end of the year. We got to bring the Moreno rematch. Again, I think Brandon's got a good shot at beating him, but again, Pantoja, I think, wins the matchups. There's some under-the-radar fights. It could happen. Josh Van wins the fight, and he's somehow fighting for the title. Asu Amabayev fighting for the title. I don't really think anybody beats Pantoja, and the fact that I do believe it's only going to be a 2 title defense a year doesn't leave a lot of openings for someone to or take the throne of Alexandre Pantoja. So I think he retains and still is the flyweight champion at the end of 2025. Now for Bantamweight. Umar Nurmagomedov. I will say this right now. I am betting on Merab Dvalishvili to win. He's a 2-1 underdog against Umar Nurmagomedov. I'm betting Merab. I'll say that right now. I'm hoping this prediction here of mine is not going to become true, because I literally have money on Merab Dvalishvili to win. That being said, I still think Umar wins. I just think there's a lot of value on Merab as the underdog, but I still think Umar is going to find a way to win that one by a decision. 48-47, really, really close fight. And after that, I mean, they are fighting in January. I think Umar's going to have a long break. He's not going to fight through Ramadan, that March, April little range right there. He'll probably have his next fight towards June, July, is my personal guesstimation. And I think that'll be his last fight of the year. I think it'll either be against one of two guys, Petr Yan or Sugar Sean O'Malley. I think they want one of those two matchups as a big, big fight against another former champion for Umar to fight. I think O'Malley and Petr Yan will probably fight in March or April, which will leave Umar to fight one of them in July or August, something like that, and have a decently long break to find out who his next contender is. So I think he beats Merab in January, fights O'Malley or Petr Yan in that August, July kind of time frame, and I don't think there's going to be, again, just like Pantoja, don't think there's going to be a third defense from Umar this year, because I think he'll fight Merab in January, fight O'Malley or Petr Yan. Both matchups, I think he will win. I think, obviously, the Sean O'Malley matchup is going to be a little bit easier for him, but the Petr Yan one is a very, very tough one for Umar Nurmagomedov. So I would say if he gets the O'Malley fight, I'm way more confident. If he gets the Petr Yan fight, I'm a little bit more hesitant. I think Petr Yan has a really, really good shot to go out there and upset Umar Nurmagomedov. But either way, I'd still pick Umar to barely win against Petr Yan and clearly win against Sean O'Malley. So either way, I would assume Umar Nurmagomedov wins both of those title fights and ends the year as the new UFC Bantamweight champion at the end of 2025. I don't think he'll get a December or November title fight again. Again, those are like the Madison Square Garden, Las Vegas events, not really built for Umar Nurmagomedov. They'll probably put him on like that October freaking Abu Dhabi card. Give him January to October to get the winner of O'Malley and Petr Yan. Because imagine Petr Yan versus Umar Nurmagomedov in Abu Dhabi. Makes a ton of sense. So only 2 title defenses, and I think he wins both of them. And then we got Featherweight. Oh, this is a weird one. All right. I have Ilia Topuria winning, okay? Against anybody. Volkanovski, Diego Lopez. I don't know why I said Diego Pereira. Diego Lopez, Max Holloway again if they, for some reason, fight. Movsar Evloev, Arnold Allen, Yair Rodriguez, Brian Ortega. Any number of these guys fights Ilia Topuria. I think Ilia Topuria wins. Only reason I'm hesitant saying Ilia Topuria is the UFC Featherweight champion at the end of 2025 is all of his talk about moving up, okay? That's where I'm in a little bit of a crossroads, because I still believe in the back of my mind, if he does move up, he should vacate. I'm 100% of the belief, if you're moving up a weight class, and you intend to fight a number 1 contender in Charles Oliveira, and then fight for the belt, maybe come back down, but maybe not even ever come back down, why would you still hold the belt? If you're not planning on coming back down to that weight class for more than a year or ever, you should vacate the belt. So I'm of that opinion. At the same time, I think he's going to beat everyone in featherweight. So if he doesn't move up, I think he beats everybody in featherweight and retains champion. But if he does move up, I'm strong in the belief that he should vacate the belt, have Diego Lopez and Movsar Evloev fight, then Volkanovski can get the winner. Something like that. Diego versus Volkanovski maybe, or I don't know. Any one of those 3 matchups works. I personally do not believe Volkanovski should get a title fight off of 3 losses. Again, I'm sprinkling in some hot takes here, but I think Diego Lopez, Movsar Evloev should fight for the vacant belt if Ilia moves up. I think Volkanovski should fight against anybody. Arnold Allen, I don't care. Arnold Allen, Aljamain Sterling, who's another decent matchup. Lerone Murphy versus Alexander Volkanovski, just as the number 1 contender fight. And then you do Diego Lopez versus Movsar Evloev, rematch for the vacant title. Say Diego wins, Volkanovski beats Lerone Murphy. You can do Diego Lopez, Volkanovski in an Australia card next year as well. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do there, but I think Ilia should vacate if he goes up. So that's where my prediction of Ilia being champion by the end of the year, it's a little bit weird for me. Because, again, I don't know if he really means that he wants to move up. And if he does, I think he should vacate. But yeah, Ilya beats everybody at 145. Lightweight. Again, even if Ilya moves up to the UFC lightweight division, likely would fight Charles Oliveira if he does move up. Islam is fighting against Arman Tsarukyan at the beginning of the year. I think he wins that one. And then either matchup he gets, Charles Oliveira or Ilia Topuria. Say Ilia does move up. He gets either one of those two matchups. I think he beats Charles Oliveira in the rematch, and I think he beat Ilia Topuria should they fight. So, again, even if Ilia doesn't move up, he's still going to get Charles Oliveira anyway, and I think he wins that fight. So, again, another 2 title defense type year for Islam Makhachev. It was supposed to be 2 in 2024 against Dustin Poirier and Arman Tsarukyan. Obviously, he got injured with the hand thingy, or the wrist thing. I don't really know. He wasn't able to get 2 last year, but he should easily be able to get 2 this year. In January, then maybe on that Abu Dhabi card as well, against Ilya, Charles Oliveira, or any other number of people. Dan Hooker, for crying out loud. It could be anyone, but either way, I don't think anybody beats the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world right now, Ilia Topuria. Just kidding. That's who I actually think is pound-for-pound number 1. But I think Islam wins ever so slightly just because of his size. He's huge for the UFC lightweight division. Ilya's pretty big for the featherweight division. But if he's trying to fight Islam next year, I don't think he's going to be able to put on the weight that fast, that good. We saw what Volkanovski looked like when he moved up. I don't think it's going to happen. So I think Islam would beat anyone in 2025. Next one, we got Belal Muhammad. Now, this one might surprise a lot of you guys. Because the number 1 contender right now, Shavkat Rakhmonov. Belal and Shavkat probably are going to be fighting at UFC 313 in March, or 314, 315, 316. One of those fights. One of those cards. March, April, May is when I'm assuming Belal and Shavkat are going to fight. I think Belal wins. I think Belal legitimately wins that fight against Shavkat Rakhmonov. I know Shavkat's undefeated. He's got all finishes except 1 against Ian Machado Gary. I don't like Shavkat Rakhmonov's just straight up wrestling. His grappling on the ground, his finishing ability on the ground, his ground and pound, his submission skills, solid. But I don't like his actual wrestling, and his striking is not really amazing. It's good. It's not amazing. It's not like he's going to go out there and absolutely destroy Belal Muhammad in the feet. Belal's going to come forward. He's going to shoot takedowns, which I think he will land on Shavkat, and I think land some good boxing combinations because, of course, Shavkat knows takedowns are coming, so he's got to worry about that, and then he's going to get hit upstairs as well at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody listening. That's kind of my thoughts on it. I think Belal wins, retains his belt March, April, May against Shavkat. Then what do we have? We got Jack Della Maddalena versus Leon Edwards. I think Jack Della Maddalena wins. We got Buckley versus Kamaru Usman. I think Joaquin Buckley wins. There's some other matchups in there as well. Sean Brady versus Ian Machado Gary. That's a close one. I think it could literally go either way on that matchup. That's why it's such a good one. But I ultimately think out of all 3 of those matchups, who's going to get the next title fight? Probably going to be against Jack Della Maddalena. They have a what is the thing? Like a contract with Australia that they're going to go there twice a year. They're already going once in Sydney, UFC 312. They're going to go again sometime later on in the year, and I think if Jack wins against Leon Edwards in March, they'd be stupid not to do Belal versus JDM, main event of a Perth, Australia, Sydney, Australia card later on in the year, in August or September or something like that. So I personally do believe they're not going to do Buckley. There's not as much financial upside with doing Buckley Belal as there would be for doing Belal JDM. So I think he fights JDM after beating Shavkat, and I think JDM is the easiest matchup out of anyone in the top 5 for Belal Muhammad. I think Usman's a harder matchup because of the wrestling and the takedown defense. I think Leon's iffy. I think Leon and JDM are kind of on the same scale as easiest matchups. For Belal, who's another guy in the top 5? We got Sean Brady. I actually still believe that's a harder matchup for Belal Muhammad, even though he's already won it by knockout. Still think that's a harder matchup for Belal than Jack Della Maddalena. Then who else do we got? Joaquin Buckley. Or no, who is number 3? I'm forgetting. We got Usman, we got Leon, number 1 and number 2. We got Shavkat, we got JDM and Sean Brady. Yeah, I think JDM and Leon Edwards are the easiest matchups out of all of them. And if you mix in Buckley there, Buckley starches Kamaru Usman around 1. Then you got JDM win a decision against Leon Edwards. I still think they'll give the title shot to Jack Della Maddalena. I swear, I think that's what's going to happen. And I think they're going to fight later on in the year. And I think Belal wins with the wrestling, with the grappling. I do not like Jack Della Maddalena's ground game at all. I think he wins both of those and either retires at the end of this year with the belt, is the champion at the end of the year, or he does one more title defense in the beginning of 2026 against Joaquin Buckley because he just knocked out Usman. Guess what? I think Buckley wins that fight. That is when I think Belal's reign will end. Whenever he fights Buckley is when I think his reign will end. Jack Della, Sean Brady, Leon Edwards again, Kamaru Usman, any of these guys, I think Belal goes out there and beats. I think his nightmare matchup, which I'm going to make a video on, every champ's nightmare matchup, thing is going to be Joaquin Buckley. It's going to be Joaquin Buckley, and I think Belal has what it takes and the smarts to realize that is the hardest matchup out of all of them. And he's going to be like, let's do Jack Della. Let's do Jack Della first. Let's build up my resume. Let's beat some... Jack Della's undefeated in the UFC. He's a big name in Australia. Let's beat him in his home area. I think that's what's going to excite Belal. So I think if he beats Shavkat, beats Jack Della, maybe he retires at the end, or he fights one more against Buckley. But I think that's where he loses. I think he should retire after these 2 wins. That's a champion win, beat Leon, beat the undefeated Boogeyman, beat Jack Della in his home area, and retires in an amazing retirement. I mean, I think he'd be 35, 36 years old at the time of that retirement. Makes sense for him to retire on top of the welterweight division, just like his coach did. That's where I'm kind of thinking of this, is his coach, I'm forgetting the name, Lewis Taylor, I believe. That's kind of what I'm remembering. Won the PFL championship for $1 million as like a 30-something-year-old, 40-year-old guy. Retired after that. Retired on top. And then that's what Belal's going to do. And he will be champion at the end of the year, 2025, and retire. That's my guess. That is my guess. Middleweight, Khamzat Chimaev. Again, just like the Alex Pereira one, either way, if Chimaev goes up to light heavyweight or not, I think he becomes middleweight champion. Because if he moves up to light heavyweight first, and he is actually fighting Alex Pereira, I don't know if that's for sure, but if that is the fight they're trying to do, I think he beats Alex Pereira, and then he comes back down to middleweight immediately for the winner of Dricus and Sean Strickland, and I think he wins that fight. Either way, let's say he's not moving up to light heavyweight. He's waiting for the winner of Dricus and Sean Strickland anyway. And they're fighting in February, so March, April, May, June, July. July-August range is probably when he's going to be fighting Dricus or Sean Strickland. I think he wins. And August, September, October, November, December. I don't know if they're going to do another title fight after that. I think Chimaev will fight that one time for the belt, and I don't think he'll have another defense or a first defense of the middleweight strap by the end of the year. Either way, I think he will be the middleweight champion. And if not, I mean, if they do give him another title defense in October, November, December, who else do we got? Imavov, Caio Borralho, we got Adesanya, big money fight. All of these fights, I think Chimaev wins. So I think he does end middleweight champion. Even if he moves up to light heavyweight, I think he comes back down and becomes middleweight champion. If he doesn't, he'll still be middleweight champion, in my opinion, at 185 pounds. Of course, we got the light heavyweight one. Like I'm saying, only matters, is Chimaev moving up next? Alex Pereira saying he's not going to be fighting Magomed Ankalaev next. All right, who else is it going to be? There's nobody else in that light heavyweight division that Alex Pereira could be fighting. Chimaev's still waiting for the winner of the middleweight fight. I'm sure he wouldn't say no to fighting a guy that doesn't really have any wrestling or grappling for the belt, and he doesn't have to cut weight. For sure, Chimaev would say yes to this, and I think he'd win the fight. So again, I don't know. The rumor's swirling. If he does move up, yes, I'll go Chimaev to win the belt. If not, I'll go Alex Pereira to beat Magomed Ankalaev, and then to beat whoever else they give him at the end of the year. Ulberg, I think he wins. Yuri rematch. Jamal Hill rematch. I think he wins. I think he wins. All comes down to, does Chimaev move up? That's the matchup. I think he loses. So that's what I got for that one. And then we got the heavyweight division. It's pretty obvious, ladies and gentlemen. There's no other pick than this that makes sense. It's Tom Aspinall. Come on, guys. Come on. Come on, guys. What'd you think I was going to say? Oh, I think it's going to be Cyril Gane. I think Cyril's going to fight Aspinall in France. Shut up. No, Cyril Gane is not beating a guy that has decent wrestling, decent grappling. No, Cyril Gane, the actor who's spending his time... It's like if I'm training for a fight. I got a fight in 2 weeks. I got a fight in a month. I'm in training camp, in the middle of training camp. I spar for an hour, and then I get a call from my phone. They're like, oh, you got to get some headshots really quickly. And I'm like, oh, I still got 30 minutes of practice. Okay, one sec, I'll leave. Bye, coach. And you leave practice early to go get headshots for your movie. You're not UFC champion material. You're just not. Would Tom Aspinall ever, during the middle of training camp or during the middle of his prime MMA career, trying to become the best in the world, would he ever take months and weeks off to go film a movie? Or would Aspinall wait till the end of his career, when he has accomplished being champion, when he has accomplished title defenses and legacy in the game of the UFC, then we'll see Aspinall in the movies, not during your career while you should be training your takedown defense. Aspinall will beat John Jones should they fight. Should they not fight, John Jones retires under the sunset. Interim becomes undisputed. Tom Aspinall becomes the champion, and who's he going to defend against? Well, probably Cyril Gane. Yeah, Aspinall's beating Cyril Gane's ass. Who else do we got? Alexander Volkov rematch. He's already beat him. He'll beat him again. Who else do we got? Sergey Pavlovich. He's beat him. He'll beat him again. Who else do we got in the top 5 for the heavyweight division? We got Jailton Almeida on the rise. We got Curtis Blades. Oh, he's already beat these guys. Except for Jailton, but Jailton's an easy matchup for Aspinall. Defend his takedown and knock him out. Yeah. There's nobody I could think of that beats Aspinall right now. Of course, Aspinall has been cracked before. So if you just put him in a fight where they're going to slug out and he's got a guy with good takedown defense, yeah, Aspinall could get knocked out. It's heavyweight. But do I favor anybody to beat Aspinall? No. Do I see possibilities for a lot of these guys to win? Yeah, for sure. Derek Lewis versus Aspinall. Yeah, I'm going to favor Aspinall to win. Would I be completely shocked if Derek Lewis knocked him out? Probably not. Probably not. Derek Lewis is just that guy. He freaking knocks out random people and then loses to random guys. I mean, it's a weird one. So yes, he could get knocked out next year and not be the champion at the end. But do I favor him in literally every matchup in the heavyweight division? I do. So yeah, that's who I got as the champion at the end of 2025. I got Tommy Aspinall. I got Alex Pereira if Chimaev doesn't move up. I got Chimaev if he does move up. I got Chimaev for middleweight as well. Double champion in 2025, 100% a possibility. Belal Muhammad defending twice, then retiring. Islam Makhachev defending twice. After Belal retires, that's when I think Islam's going to move up. After this year, I think 2026 is when Islam moves up. Ilia Topuria as the featherweight champion if he doesn't move up. Because goddamn, you need to vacate if you move up. And if he does move up and he does vacate, I don't think I talked about it. I would say Diego Lopez will be the new champion. I think Diego Lopez will be the new featherweight champion. Umar Nurmagomedov beating Murad Dvalishvili, then beating O'Malley or Petr Yan. 2 title defense year, or not defense, no, 2 title win year, because the first one was just a title fight, wasn't a defense. But Umar, and then Pantoja, again, 2 title fights. Kai Kara France, then Manel Kape, and then Kai Kara France, or Brandon Royval, Kai Kara France, and then who else we got? Asual Mabayev, could be anyone. I think he wins them all. So that's what I got for you guys. Like and subscribe. Check out the membership down below. I got all my bets. I got all my rankings for every UFC fighter. I got a prospect list of thousands of fighters outside the UFC that are legitimate guys to watch. You can watch them for free on a lot of websites and check out their career before they join the UFC. I got so many guys on that list that every time a new fighter gets signed to the UFC, I check the list and they're on it. Like, without fail, every single time. So thank us for watching. Become a member down below to support the channel. Thank us for watching again. We'll see you in the next one.